Lift your leg up on the wall. Lift your leg up on the wall. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, give them waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist. Imagine you're out on the road, oh gosh. Bust in a real sweat, in a vet, oh gosh. All of this plenty looseness. How long now you don't wine? Plenty looseness. It's a long time you don't wine on the road. Y'all wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss it. Wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you on the road. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, give them waist, don't watch your face. I know you want a fed bad, bad, bad. You want the road bad, bad, bad. You want to party bad, bad, bad. You want your head bad, bad, bad. Y'all wine out like you miss it, wine up like you miss it, wine out like you miss it, wine up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you on the road. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. See them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop.
Just go on in front of the mirror now. Just go on. Go on ahead.
The wall, who's the baddest of them all? If you leg up on the wall.
Greetings and salutations, one and all.
Mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror.
How you doing?
In front of the mirror.
Welcome to the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew Real Talk Wednesday.
In front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror.
Jump in front of the mirror. Go on, get in front of the mirror.
The wall, who's the baddest of them all?
The sound of Looney Spark
Leg up
and Electrify kicking us off. Track called Mirror.
mirror, in front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, give them waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist. Imagine you're out on the road, oh gosh. Bust in a real sweat, in a vet, oh gosh. All of this plenty looseness. How long now you don't wine? Plenty looseness. It's a long time you don't wine on the road. Y'all wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss it. Wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you on the road. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, give them waist, don't watch your face. I know you want a fed bad, bad, bad. You want the road bad, bad, bad.
The track say mirror, mirror on the wall.
The wall, who's the baddest of them all?
Who's the baddest of them all?
Leave your leg up on the wall. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror.
Is it you?
In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In front of
Is it me?
the mirror. In front of the mirror, mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a
Who could it be?
to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them waist, don't watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist, give them waist, don't watch.
Want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio and the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to you.
In a vet, oh gosh.
Welcome. Those who are locked in out to New Jersey, NIE Radio.
Plenty loose, there is a long time you don't
Locked in with New Jersey's finest, the Motivator.
wind up like you miss it. Wind up like
Big up your status, my brother. You can catch the Motivator on Thursdays for Double Trouble Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you on the road in front of the mirror.
Much love to those who are locked in out of South Florida on the Foundation Radio Network. ClintonLindsay.com. Mr. Twinkle Toes himself. Clinton Lindsay. You can catch him at noon every day.
To the ground, drop it. Turn up your waist. Don't watch your face. Give them west, so watch your face. Drop it, drop it.
It's called ClintonLindsay.com.
Up your waist, give them west.
Same bossy.
I know you want a fed bad. Bad,
Veteran in the business. Much love, Mr. Lindsay.
bad. You want to party bad. Bad.
Big ups to those who are locked in on Reggae Pulse Radio.
Girl, wine
Out of Long Island, New York.
like you miss it.
With
Wine
DJ Atomic Force.
up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back,
You
girl.
can catch Atomic Force on Mondays.
Imagine you on the
I think coming on Friday nights too, you know.
in front of the mirror, in front
Yeah, man.
wine in front of the mirror.
Oh, man, expanding.
In front of the mirror, in front.
Do you think Atomic Force? Do you think?
Mirror on the wall. Who's the baddest of them all? Lift your leg up on the wall. Lift your leg up on
Big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com.
the mirror, in front of the mirror.
Those on Zeno FM. Bubbling in the stew pot. Much love to you.
In front of the mirror, in front of the mirror.
Those on Clubhouse.
Mirror like a bomb. Drop it to
In the club called the Stew Pot.
the waist.
Welcome, welcome.
Give them west, so watch your face. Drop it,
Those on Facebook Live.
drop it, turn up your waist. Give them west, so watch your face. Give them west.
Welcome to the broadcast.
Oh gosh, what's in a real sweat in a vet? Oh gosh, all of this plenty looseness. How long now you don't wine? Plenty looseness. A lot
Those of you on Clubhouse
on the road. Girl, wine up,
and the Facebook Live, remember it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable.
sit.
But you can use the link that is pinned in the comment section
Miss it.
and in the description. It's to kevinstew.com.
You miss it.
Home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. We're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Mirror in front of the mirror.
Welcome to those who are on kevinstew.com.
In front of the mirror, in front of the mirror, in front of the mirror.
Blessings to you. So glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you, and you have my word. I wouldn't even try.
Turn up your waist, don't watch your face. Give them west, so watch your face. Drop it to the ground. Drop it, turn up your
I
waist.
want to say thank you very much to my segment sponsors.
Bad, you on the road, bad.
Pulse Media Group, and being in the moment is priceless. Give them a call. What can they do for you? They can take care of your videos, your photos, your streaming, your ads, and more.
Why not like you miss it? Why not
You have an event that you want to stream live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs, they can hook you up.
you on the road?
Yep. Church service, funeral, party, graduation, seminar, you name it.
In front of the mirror, in front of
Give them a call, 754-999-1140.
the wall.
That's 754-999-1140.
On the wall, leave your leg up on
Tell them Kevin Stew sent you.
the mirror. In front of the mirror, in front of the mirror.
I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands.
Mirror, in front of the mirror.
Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you,
To waist,
bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience.
to the ground. Drop it, turn up your waist.
Give her a call today. Schedule your appointment 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000.
All of this plenty looseness. How long now you
She only has one request outside of paying her.
time you don't wine on the road?
It is to get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done.
Sit, wine
It's called the Kevin Stew Clause.
up like you miss the road. Push back,
That's because I'm always falling asleep on her table, of course.
push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you on the road.
Listen, don't knock it until you've been there.
The mirror, in front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror.
I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment.
In front of the mirror, in front of the mirror.
Reggae Global will act as your booking agents, handle your tour management,
To the ground, drop it.
take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more.
Drop it, turn up your waist.
Give them a call, 954-804-8199. That's 954-804-8199. Or check them out online at reggaeglobal.com.
Bad, you want your head.
Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
Girl, wine up like you miss it. Wine up like you miss it. Wine up like you miss it. Wine up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you
I
miss
want to say thank you to McNeil Trucking.
it. Push back, girl, you miss it.
With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands.
Front of the mirror,
They're licensed and insured movers in the state of Florida.
mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In
You want to move from point A to point B, put some things in storage.
front of the mirror.
Don't have the manpower, don't have the equipment, don't have the transportation. Don't worry, you have the phone number.
Mirror.
And you have the name. McNeil Trucking, 954-840-9740.
Wall in front
That's 954-406-9740.
of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. In
Tell them Kevin Stew sent you.
front of the mirror. In front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb. Drop it to the ground. Drop it. Turn up your waist. Don't watch your face. Give them west. Don't watch your
Happy hump day to you.
To the ground, drop it on up your
Let's drop it to the ground.
face. Give them west. Imagine you're out on the road. Oh gosh, was in a real sweat in a face.
Hey, Miss Do. How you do?
Plenty looseness, how long now you don't wine? Plenty looseness, a long
Hey, Tina.
wine on the road. Y'all wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss it. Wine out like you miss it. Wine up like you miss the road. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine
Lesmond, my brethren, where I say.
mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror.
I'm waiting for the new things. I'm waiting for the new things, Les.
Mirror, in front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror.
Invite him to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too, because the information is good for everyone.
Drop it to the ground, drop
It's real talk right here on the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, inviting you to jump on over into the stew pot. Those of you who don't know what the stew pot is, it's what others call a chat room.
ball, you want to
So you go to kevinstew.com and boom, you are there. You don't even have to worry about registering. No, none of that required.
like you miss it.
You don't need to register, you don't need to offer a firstborn, an internal organ, or a blood sacrifice. Just go to kevinstew.com and you are there. You can remain anonymous if you wish. You can put your name so I know who I'm interacting with.
In front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror,
kevinstew.com is the place where you're invited to have acceptance through enlightenment.
in front of the mirror. Wine in front of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground.
Tonight we'll be looking at self-limiting beliefs.
So watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it
Do you know what that is?
drop it on.
Ever heard of it?
Give them west, so watch your face. Give them west.
It is one of those things that I guess we all go through at some point in time, but never really recognize.
Give them west, so watch your face. Like a bomb, drop it to the ground. Drop it on up your way.
Just that you know the phone lines are open and they always are.
Bad, bad.
773-789-STEW gets you in touch.
Wine up.
773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram from anywhere in the world.
Girl, you miss it. Push back, girl, you miss it. Imagine you want
Share your views with me.
the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror.
And you can tell me who is the baddest of them all.
The mirror, mirror, in front of the mirror, mirror, in front
Lunar Spark and Electrify.
of the mirror. Like a bomb, drop it to
Track called Mirror.
on up your waist. Don't watch your
Thank you to them for kicking us off tonight.
drop it to the ground. Drop it on up your waist. Give them west, don't watch your face. Give them west.
Okay, so you know, there's a thing that some of us go through from time to time, and I don't even know why. To be honest, I've looked into it sometimes, and I've come up with my own conclusions. But what say you? Apparently, with researchers and psychologists all over the world looking into things like self-limiting beliefs, they've come up with some very interesting theories and done some really mind-blowing studies. And one of them, according to CNBC, says that your brain may be sabotaging your financial or career success. And that actually has something to do with how you were raised. What? But as soon as you read it and you stop and think about it for a moment, you might go, wait, these people might be onto something. So, before I go into that, let me take a quick look at self-limiting beliefs. PositivePsychology.com says, there are times when we've written ourselves off or passed up on opportunities due to beliefs like, I'm too old to do that, or there's no way I'm qualified to apply for this job. I can't go talk to him, he's out of my league, or her, as the case may be. Whether you're questioning your credentials when applying for a job or balking at the chance to strike up a conversation with someone good looking. That has happened to me on a number of occasions, believe it or not. Your apprehensions may be highlighting something about your self-beliefs. Now, false and self-limiting beliefs can stifle progress towards achieving goals or prevent us from living our ideal lives. Thankfully, they're a core of competent and of a core component of many psychological treatments involves helping us to undo these unhelpful beliefs so that we can start living life to the fullest. Now, the problem comes up if you don't see yourself living this life to the fullest, which is what we're trying to fix with the self-limiting beliefs. You get it? So, as we go through this particular article, it will explore the different origins of false and self-limiting beliefs and some therapeutic treatment options to help overcome them. Now, before going on, well, actually, let me just jump right into it. So, what are self-limiting and false beliefs? There is no universally agreed upon definition of false and self-limiting beliefs. There are plenty of examples in popular press to inform our thinking. In an exploration of barriers to the world of business, Blackman in 2018 writes that self-limiting beliefs are, quote, assumptions or perceptions that you've got about yourself and about the way the world works. These assumptions are self-limiting because in some way they're holding you back from achieving what you're capable of. You know, when people talk about you're not living up to your potential, it's funny how someone else can see it, but you can't. Crazy, right? Or is it that we're going crazy? Looking at research, we may also consider the closely related notion of maladaptive beliefs, which are central foci for treatment in many forms of cognitive behavioral therapy. Bowden and colleagues in 2012 note that these beliefs have the potential to be central to one's identity, negatively biased, inaccurate, and rigid. Now, taken together, we can consider false or self-limiting beliefs to be negative, potentially difficult to change, and somehow preventing us from achieving our goals or being as happy as we could be. Now, imagine this for a moment. You are happy now, and there's a possibility that you could be much happier. Only if you made a few changes which required you to step out of what you know to be your comfort zone. Oh, you mean actually step into my boss's office and ask for a raise? I can't do that. I don't deserve it. Why would I deserve a raise? Look at all these people that are here. What am I doing so different that I deserve a raise and they don't? I'd have to ask for a raise for everybody, not just for me. Well, wouldn't that fall under the umbrella of a self-limiting belief? You deserve that raise. Why don't you deserve that raise? Aren't you working your butt off? You don't know what everybody else is doing unless you do know what everybody else is doing and getting paid for it. Maybe some of them are doing less. Are they? Because in every office situation, that we tend to find that someone just barely pulling their weight, and you have the ones that look like they have no life outside of this job, and that is all that they do, and they put their all into it. Would they be deserving of such a raise? Would they be deserving of asking for such a raise? Yeah. But if you're that individual that says, I don't deserve it because I could do more, well, you're limiting yourself. Or you're that individual that says, boy, I've been seeing this person and wow, I'd love to talk with them. It might not go anywhere, but just to know that I can talk with this person. But look at me. Look at my car. Look at the job I do. I can't. She looks so well put together. They have this fancy vehicle that they drive and so much going on for them, but Um, they put on their underwear just like you, 1 foot at a time. Oh, yeah. Or maybe they don't wear any, and that should make you even more comfortable. Just walk up to them and say, hey, whatever. Because it's funny. As much as, looking back in my life, as much as I'm a shy guy, which is why I do a talk show, because I'm shy. So, as much as I'm a shy guy, there have been many an occasion where I have just walked up to someone and said, hey, you look amazing today. I don't know if anybody else told you, but I just wanted you to know. And I kept it moving. Or I would say, hi, how are you? What do you do? My name is not Slim Shady, but Kevin. You know, I just wanted to say hi. I've seen you a few times. I just thought I'd say hi. And let the chips fall where they may. You're not expecting, well, maybe that is a problem. The expectation. Because you're expecting something to happen, because the storybooks say that it should happen, and Disney says, and Hollywood says, and they all say, but at what point do you stop to say, hey, hey, Marlon, at what point do you stop to say, I got this, I can do this, I'm deserving of this? When I say big ups to Marlon, Reggae Global Radio General Manager, locked in right now. You can check out Marlon's broadcast. It's called Real Rockers. It happens every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Reggae Global Radio and affiliates. Marlon is like a walking, talking music encyclopedia. You can talk to this man about music history from here till next year. Trust me, this guy here, yeah. Marlon says, some of my coworkers don't wear underwear. How do you know this, Marlon? Quick question. Are they telling you that, like, who did that song? Byron Lee and the Dragonaires? Or Fab Five? Don't wear none. I think it was Byron Lee. They're telling you that they're not wearing any? What's going on here? What kind of coworkers you work with? Are these male or female coworkers? I have so many questions, Marlon. So here it is. We end up with these self-limiting beliefs. So how do they develop? Now, there's a meme that is out there in the world. It says a lot of pain that we are dealing with are really only thoughts. Let that sink in for a moment. A lot of the pain that we're dealing with, some of the pain that we're feeling right now, they're just thoughts. So if you were to think differently, it could be something else. The pain could go away. A good first step to understanding where and how false and self-limiting beliefs develop is by considering them according to a systematic framework. One such framework, commonly employed throughout psychology and sociology research, is Rokeach hierarchical system of beliefs. Now, according to this framework, an individual's inventory of beliefs can be structured according to 5 levels, depending on their level of importance. Marlon says he was told by his co-workers that they don't wear underwear, and 98% of them are female, which means 3 out of the 4. How you get it? I'm playing Marlon. I don't even know how many people you work with. The most central forms of belief, referred to as type A beliefs, are those that we consider unchallengeable common sense. For instance, the average person knows and will not question who their family members are or where they live. In contrast, type E beliefs, the most peripheral beliefs, are largely matters of taste that are not strongly tied to the rest of your belief system. they are also more likely to be subject to change. Examples of such beliefs include your preferred brand of toilet paper, or whether or not to enjoy broccoli. Those are your type E beliefs. Now, relevant to a consideration of false and self-limiting beliefs, what Rokeach would classify as type B and type C beliefs. Now, your type B beliefs, sometimes known as primitive beliefs or core beliefs, are typically core beliefs about ourselves that others' opinions can neither confirm nor deny. These beliefs often characterize our self-image and self-esteem. They may also lie below the levels of our awareness and unconsciously dictate our decision making. Some of these examples include, I'm a funny person, or nobody likes me. I am capable of overcoming challenges, and things like I deserve the bad things that happen to me. You've heard some people say these things at some point in time, I'm pretty sure. Beliefs such as these are particularly vulnerable to being shaped during our early development, such as via the messages we receive from our parents and caregivers about our self-worth, potential, and deservingness of unconditional love. How many of us as children were told, you deserve the world, you deserve the best, or there's nothing that you cannot do? I remember one time, and it stuck with me forever after that. I was doing something and I got frustrated with it. And my mother said, try and try and try again. And I still remained frustrated. And she said, hold on. Did you do your best? I said, yeah. But I just not getting... Oh, wait. Did you do your best? Yes. Well, when men on earth have done their best, angels in heaven can do no better. And I'm like, oh my goodness. That means this can't be. So it was mind blowing. I was confused and it stuck with me for a very long time. But here's what I took away from that. It's as good as I can do it. And if someone else can do it better, that means that they have the capacity to do it better, which doesn't take anything away from me, but I had to grow up to learn that. So some of us haven't grown up yet, and we haven't gotten to that point and where we can say, hey, this ain't gonna work. I'm a stick with, I can't do it. All parts of me are shy, Tina. All parts of me. Importantly, before we take a break, researchers believe that because type B beliefs tend to constitute global judgments about who we are and what we're capable of achieving, they can trickle down to affect our beliefs relevant to specific situations we may be facing. For example, imagine a single woman named Haley who is considering approaching an attractive man in a bar. Let's say his name is Kevin. Haley often expresses how badly she wishes to meet a romantic partner. So her friends by her side are eagerly encouraging her to walk over and introduce herself. Haley, however, is hesitant. She expresses concerns that her appearance doesn't compare to the other women in the bar. Her friends, incredulous, assure her she looks beautiful, but still, Haley cannot shake the feeling that she will be rejected based on her looks. Unbeknownst to Haley, there's a primitive type B belief underlying her present belief that her looks are not up to par. Growing up, her parents would often make comparisons between her and her sister. In their comparisons, often made in the presence of friends and family, Haley was the brains, her sister the beauty. Now, while these comparisons were never intended to be malicious, they shaped young Haley's beliefs about her self-image, leading her to her current predicament and self-limiting belief that she is not attractive enough to approach the man at the bar. So Kevin sits there and sips on his drink and just does his thing. This is what somewhat innocuous. It's one of those innocuous examples of how the messages reinforced to us as children may shape our beliefs. It is not hard to imagine how insecure attachments or the experience of neglect or abuse during childhood may have devastating effects on our primitive beliefs. These effects may subsequently drive a host of false and self-limiting beliefs in specific situations. Additionally, because these primitive type B beliefs are so central to our belief system, second only to beliefs about our name and where we live, they can be incredibly challenging to surface and shake without professional psychological support. We're gonna let that settle in for a moment and take a quick break. And in this break, we're gonna say sayonara to those on Facebook Live, those who are locked in on Clubhouse. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. Jump on in into the stew pot. Let me hear from you. Interact with me. And again, the stew pot is what others call a chat room, but because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. Hubert, how you doing, brethren? Much love to you, Hubert. Thank you for the continuous support. Listen, this guy right here, one of my biggest supporters. And Tina, just click on where your name is below the text box and you can change it there. Thank you. You can remain anonymous too. Much love to you, Hubert. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast, please. I love for you to hang out with me over there. And before we go, though, just a quick reminder to visit the store, my store. Which store? My Mary Kay store. Yes, I am an independent Mary Kay consultant. And as a Mary Kay consultant, I just want y'all to know it's not just about the women, it's about the men. And I got into it for the skincare. So here's the deal. For men, you have beard care and face care and fragrances. So ladies, get that man in your life something from my store. That man could be your neighbor, your cousin, your brother, your father, your uncle, your teacher, whomever. Doesn't really matter. Could be your boss. Just go to marykay.com/KevinStew and see the list of things that are there. And remember, skincare is for everyone. So primarily, I deal with skincare. And I have some stuff here in my inventory that could work for you, especially botanicals. I'm more into the natural stuff than anything else. And Mary Kay has a line of those too. For anyone needing to balance their skin tone, check this out. There's a thing called CC cream, and it works for men and women alike. And it's not that heavy powder kind of a thing. It's really light. This woman on the picture that you're looking at on the screen, that's a real picture. She came by my house one day as a friend of mine, did a little pampering session with her and her son. They got their hands done. They did some basic work on their face. They got a facial, and she put on the CC cream, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it. It balances out the skin tone, and it just a little bit goes a long way. So visit the Mary Kay store, marykay.com/KevinStew, and see what you like. Put something in the basket. I'll get connected with you and make sure you get it. See? Real simple.
Quality Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music. or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In
me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents the brand new self-titled album from Yishka with 9 great songs. Oh, baby, let me love you.
Oh, baby.
Be grateful for life.
Be grateful for life.
Shake you down.
Girl, I wanna shake you
What else can I do?
What else can I
Babe, come over.
do? Baby, come over.
My. It's our time
It's our time. You know I love you.
for your love.
For your love, I would do anything.
I'm falling.
I'm falling in love again.
Yishka. 9 great songs. Available on all streaming platforms.
You sure look good tonight.
Available now.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Busy bars are packed. I'm lost in the crowd. There you are, standing in the back. Can't hear what you're saying 'cause the music's so loud. Come take my hand, let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Make me feel so good. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Fill my glass with something new. Put me in the mood. Make me feel so good. Tonight I wanna dance with you. So here's what you'll do. Make me feel so good. When I'm with you, come take my hand. Let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Come take my hand. Let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Come
This is where we part company with those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook Live. Remember, the broadcast is available for replay on kevinstew.com via podcast or YouTube. All available on kevinstew.com. So you don't even need to worry about missing out on anything. And if you know anybody that missed out, just send them to kevinstew.com tomorrow. It'll be there. You'll see the post and everything is available. You can just go to the post and you can listen to or watch the whole broadcast. The sound of Rachel David Lee bringing us back from the break. It's called Make Me Feel So Good. Facebook Live, deuces to you. Clubhouse, catch you later. I'll get a little bit of brata tonight. You got a little bit something extra, didn't you? All right. Back to business. So, we're looking at self-limiting beliefs. Numbers to call, numbers to text, 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. Okay, so before the break, it was mentioned that some of the things that the mindset that Haley in the scenario had pretty much came from things that her parents said to her as a little girl, as she was growing up, doing comparisons with her and her sister. And this laid the foundation for that self-limiting belief that has taken her into her adulthood. So she couldn't go talk to that handsome guy in the bar that we called Kevin. And so missing out on that opportunity. And Kevin was probably sitting there thinking, boy, Haley's kind of cute. We don't know. We'll never find out because Haley didn't make that step. And Kevin probably sees her with her girlfriends and think, you know what? You never walk up to that woman in the crowd of her girlfriends because you never know what's going to happen. It's going to look ugly if she turns you down because it's not just her turning you down. It's her and the whole crew. And, you know, so even then, Kevin probably had some self-limiting beliefs too why he didn't say something to Haley. We don't know. But just know that self-limiting beliefs exist. Now, according to Rokeesh and Rokeesh's framework, Type C beliefs, which are somewhat more peripheral than Type B, can also trickle down to produce false and self-limiting beliefs. Type C beliefs are referred to as authority beliefs. These are beliefs we accept based on their having come from a trusted authority. Examples such as scholars, business leaders, religious figures in the community, or even publications such as newspapers. One would hope that the authority figures we choose can be trusted to provide us with accurate information that will serve us well in life. However, we need only turn to those around us to know that is not the case. Can you think of a friend or family member who has invested in a get-rich-quick scheme, all because it was touted by a charismatic guru? Or perhaps they cling to what you believe to be an outdated belief that they learned at church or school. We all have one of those, at least one of those friends. These are just examples of authority beliefs. And again, while more malleable than primitive beliefs, they may trickle down to affect our beliefs in more day-to-day situations. For instance, imagine if Haley, the same girl from the bar that we talked about before the break, her. Imagine if she were to resist approaching the man at the bar on the basis of her belief that it was the responsibility of the man to approach a woman if they find them attractive. Now, we know that this is what a lot of society says is supposed to happen. So when a woman steps to a man in a bar, party, club, wherever, it's like so far-fetched. Because we move away from the fact that men and women are people and they have eyes and they have things that they like when they see them. And as such, do have the aspiration to achieve that thing, to get that thing, to acquire that thing. And so they go after it. It's not a man thing or a woman thing, but society says it is. And so, if this was her belief, then it could be indicative of a type 2 belief surrounding Haley's gender-related identity as a woman, stemming from what she observed from female role models as she was growing up. See how that works? Now, alternatively, if this situation could stem from her belief in the questionable teachings of a weekly newspaper columnist who advises on love and dating. Now, if so, this might be a type C self-limiting belief that unnecessarily prevents Haley from meeting what could be the love of her life, or at least the best 10 minutes of it. Again, this is a fairly innocuous example. However, to understand the extent to which authority figures can negatively influence beliefs, one need only look to the harrowing experiences of cult survivors. You can find documentaries and memoirs all over the place, and their journeys of struggling to detach from harmful belief systems that have dictated to them for many years of their life. Think about it. The Branch Davidians. Dude there in Guyana. You know, there are so many. All January 6th insurrection. You know, what can I say? Now, since we have a better understanding of false and self-limiting beliefs, let's look a little bit at some of the different therapeutic options for combating them, starting with rational emotive behavior therapy, known as REBT. It has existed since the 1950s. You've never heard of it? No worries. We'll talk a little bit about it right now. And it's targeted at helping patients identify negative or irrational thought patterns that affect their behaviors. Given this focus, it is particularly well suited as a treatment option for those struggling with false or self-limiting beliefs. At the foundation of REBT is what is known as the ABC model. Using this model, REBT can help clients surface, trace, and challenge a range of self-limiting belief. To illustrate, let's look at another example. So Tom recently submitted a report for his boss to review. The following day, he receives the report back via email and notices his boss has written many comments and made many changes. Before looking at the feedback closely, Tom feels sad and worthless and experiences negative thoughts about his capabilities relative to his colleagues. In reality, the feedback and adjustments made to Tom's report may include a combination of useful and constructive suggestions for improving his work, as well as compliments on what he did well. Now, despite this, Tom has prematurely succumbed to false beliefs about his abilities. Now, we can track Tom's experience of receiving this report using REBT's ABC model, going this route. A is the activating event that triggers negative thoughts. And in this example, the activating event was Tom receiving the feedback from his boss. B is the false irrational belief, B for the belief, that is formed following the activating event. And in this example, Tom's potentially false belief is that he is ineffective at his job. So we have A being the activating agent and B being the belief. Now then we have C, which is the consequence that flows from the irrational thoughts. And in this example, the consequence is Tom's experience of sadness, worthlessness, and ineffectiveness. A being what? The activating agent. B being belief, and C being the consequence. Now, it's not hard to see how we can become the authors of our own misery when activating activating events trigger false or self-limiting beliefs unnecessarily. And so many times we have had these experiences and continue to have them. Just because, let's take for example, communicating by text. And because, I don't know, a punctuation mark was left out, a space was placed in the wrong place in the sentence or in a paragraph somewhere or in the statement, and it is read incorrectly, it can ruin your whole day because you were riding high and you were expecting this response from this person, and then it came and you read it wrong. What the sender was saying and what you were reading are the same words, but interpreted differently. And that may just very well be because of your self-limiting beliefs. And in the world of texting, in the world of social media and digital communication, these are the things that can happen on a regular. Now, thankfully, REBT practitioners draw on a range of techniques to help interrupt the false and self-limiting beliefs that may flow from any of these three stages. For instance, got a message E, all of the above. We didn't have a D. It's A, B, and C. We didn't have a D. So how you get to E, all of the above? It's D, all of the above. I don't like your alphabet. So, thankfully, REBT practitioners draw on a range of techniques, and these, for instance, therapists can teach their clients strategies to address activating agents, your A's, such as problem-solving skills or mindfulness exercises to interrupt or bring attention to initial negative thoughts. To address the irrational beliefs, the B's, therapists will often teach cognitive restructuring techniques discussed in relation to cognitive behavioral therapy. And I've talked about that in another broadcast before, and we may look a little bit at it tonight if we have enough time. And address the consequences, C, such as negative emotions. They may teach relaxation or techniques to self-soothe, like tapping. You ever did tapping? Where you just take the tip of your finger and tap the center of your head lightly over a period of time. It does this thing to relax. An REBT therapist, for example, might work with Tom to recognize when he is prematurely getting swept up in negative thoughts by teaching him to practice mindful awareness. That is, the therapist can teach Tom to catch himself having premature reactions to thoughts before a strong emotional response sets in. And again, remember, the response is the C to the ABC. A, the activating agent, B, the belief, and C, the consequence. Yeah. So before the consequence sets in, to stop what happened with A and B and redirect. And doing so would serve to rectify that activating agent and spare Tom the unnecessary misery, because it now changes the belief. False and self-limiting beliefs often fall under the umbrella of cognitive distortions, tackled by a cognitive behavioral therapy. And among these distortions are the acts of disqualifying positive events, overgeneralizing, and mind reading. We just love the mind readers. Now, to tackle these, CBT therapists will draw on a range of techniques that facilitate cognitive restructuring or cognitive reframing. These approaches form a core part of many CBT approaches that consider and amend how we attend, interpret, reason, reflect, and make sense of events. There are many different cognitive restructuring techniques which you can search for and research on your own. Again, my job is to stimulate your appetite, not satisfy your hunger. So I'll give you a little bit to start you off. But the rest of the work, you're going to need to put in some work yourself. You want some answers? You're going to have to go digging. I don't often have the time to give you all what I have found because I probably won't even get through all of my information tonight. So there are many different cognitive restructuring techniques. And one of them, actually, particularly relevant to addressing false and self-limiting beliefs, is Socratic questioning. Now, this involves asking ourselves a series of focused, open-minded or open-ended questions that encourage us to reflect on our thoughts. By doing this, we challenge black and white thinking and ensure that our thoughts are based on sound logic before allowing them to dictate our emotions and behaviors. Now, again, when it comes to logic, that can be a little bit skewed too, because the belief system that we grew up with and how we rationalize things may be skewed based on our upbringing. So there can be a little bit of a challenge there. But examples of Socratic questions include, what is the evidence for this thought? Could I be making any assumptions here? Is this thought based on an emotional reaction or the evidence in front of me? And you can apply these questions to a number of things, including jealousy. And if we think about it for a moment, when you look at jealousy, you're really comparing yourself to someone else unnecessarily. Well, majority of the time unnecessarily. And so you end up activating an emotion based on a belief, and then the consequence is how you end up. So stop yourself before you get to the consequence part. Stop yourself before you decide on settling on a course of action, a response that is not going to work out good for anyone. Ask those questions. What's the evidence for this thought? Are we making assumptions? Is this thought based on an emotional reaction, or is it based on the evidence that is right here presented? To illustrate the effectiveness of the Socratic questioning, let's go back to Haley in the bar. And then after this, we're going to take a quick break. So Haley might catch herself having doubts about her appearance and begin reflecting on them critically. She might pause to ask herself whether her judgments about her appearance are really accurate. And in doing so, she might consider the evidence for her and against, and for her and against, and recall her friends telling her how nice she looks. So she recalls the evidence about her saying, she recalls what she says about her not looking great, and then focuses on what her friends say about her actually looking great. Now, she might also stop to consider whether she is making preconceived assumptions about the man's preferences, what his impression of her will be, or whether his opinion of her is even important. Now we're getting somewhere with Haley, because let me say this, and if y'all take nothing else away from this broadcast tonight, take this. When And it goes back to what my mother said. When men on earth have done their best, angels in heaven can do no better. When you say that you're setting out to do something and you do it, it's you doing it, regardless of anything else or anyone else. You're getting what you set out to do done. And that's all that matters. Because whatever happens after that, that's something new. So if it is that you intend to introduce yourself to this person, do it. And if you crash and burn, so be it. You have done what you have set out to do. Mission accomplished. Anything after that, if it works out that she gives you her number or he gives you his number and y'all become great friends, that is icing on the cake. But the cake is the act itself that you thought of and executed. And many of us don't get to do that thing that we wanted to do, and we turn around and regret not doing that thing because of that self-limiting belief. That thought of someone reacting how you think they're going to react when the thing didn't happen yet for them to react to it. How often does that happen? So most CBT therapists will be skilled at Socratic questioning and can teach this technique to their clients struggling with false or self-limiting beliefs. But if you haven't made your way to one of these cognitive behavioral therapists, you can start by learning the information, reading the information, and looking into scenarios as they are presented by these psychologists, by these therapists that have written these articles and addressed some of these topics all over. Because the information is there, it's right at our fingertips, literally. So, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at that information that we started off with. That article that CNBC had about our brain sabotaging our financial or career success. And it being due to how we were raised. And then we're going to apply some of what we have learned about our cognitive behavior, some about our self-limiting beliefs, and see if we can aspire to greater things without limiting ourselves based on what we were initially shown. Basically, what we initially have come to learn. So, when we come back from the break, we do that, right? Call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Tell them to be a part of this. Because this is great. It's information for everyone. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. Use up the number. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. If none of these work for you and you want to use Skype, you can do that too. Kevin.stew is a Skype handle. So you can find me. You have no excuses. And of course, go to kevinstew.com, jump into the stew pot and be interactive. I realize that you can't actually change your name right now. I'll look into that a little bit later. Get in touch with the tech crew and we'll see if we can sort that out. But hey, you can still go there and make your comments. All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion. Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Teddy Greaves Jr. with 6 brand new songs out now on his brand new EP, Teddy Greaves Jr. with songs you know and love like Can You Stop the Rain?
Can you stop the rain?
One Last Cry. Can't Get Over You. Wait Too Long. You and I. And One Last Cry, the acoustic version. Teddy Greaves Jr. Now available on all major digital platforms. Teddy Greaves Jr.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say I don't know.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't.
Through the pages of time, the mirror of my mind shows a barren land where the sun don't shine. They built walls around me to imprison my soul. The light that shoots from within me, these chains will never hold me. Way yo, na 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 na. 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 Hunger and starvation is the name of the day. Third world children are starving while they throw tons of food away. Politics, bureaucracy, Babylon with the mental slavery. The blood of the innocent run deep in the river of despair. We sing way yo, na 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 na. 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 Time has passed, but everything remains the same. The earth is weeping, she's in so much pain. When will we stop? When will we stop? When will we learn? When will we learn? So many lessons have come and gone. Way yo, na 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 na. 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 Way yo,
The sound of Cass Smith bringing us back from the break. A track called Journeys. Title track from the album of the same name. Welcome back to Real Talk, right on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you to all the affiliates. Thank you to all the sponsors. As we continue to address self-limiting beliefs. So, think about this. Your brain could be that thing sabotaging your financial or your career success. And it all has to do with how you were raised. Is that one of the most mind-blowing things you've ever heard in your life? If not, cool. I understand. It doesn't have to be. But let's dive into this a little bit. So, money is and can be one of the harder things to talk about. A 2021 report by researchers at George Washington University showed that 50% of surveyed U.S. adults felt stressed when discussing their personal finances, and 60% expressed anxiety just thinking about their finances. I am definitely anxious when it comes to my finances. Speaking of which, do remember, advertising is available on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew and also on kevinstew.com. Go ahead and contact me, 773-789-STEW, and we can make arrangements. I can send you the ad schedule, and you can decide how you want to set up your package, because it is customizable like that. So, there is advertising available. Sponsorship spots are available too. All right, cool. Now, with that being said, we get back to the matter at hand. It is often true, for high earners or people who have earned a steady paycheck for decades on end. And according to Ed Combs, if that's how his name is pronounced, a couples therapist who specializes in financial therapy, there's a psychological explanation for it. Your anxiety around money is often deeply tied to your childhood experiences with financial stability. Let that sink in for a moment. What's more, Combs added, what you think you're capable of achieving as an adult is often directly influenced by how much money your parents made when you were a child. And your brain might not be able to let go of that idea. Meaning, when you do find success, you might subconsciously sabotage yourself to get back to a place of financial familiarity because you don't know that place. And here's why. Think for a second about what you'll realistically be able to achieve for the rest of your career. What type of job could you one day have? How much money might you make? Odds are your answer is pretty close to the level of success your parents or grandparents or your guardians enjoyed when you were a child. Psychologically, you have to overcome that to see that you can make a difference. The phenomenon has some fascinating implications. If your parents had standard day jobs when you were a child, for example, you might find it harder to take the leap into launching a side hustle or growing into a full-time gig. That side hustle, growing it into a full-time gig. Or if you grew up in a lower or middle-class household, you might have a tough time envisioning a direct path towards greater wealth as an adult. If you grew up in a wealthy household, you might be just as self-constrained by the social expectations of your family and peers, says Preston Cherry, an assistant professor of personal financial planning at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. For instance, you might feel drawn to a small school or community college that particularly excels in a field that you want to study. but your social upbringing might dissuade you from it. Think of the royal family and who they might want to be involved with. Community colleges are frowned upon in certain social circles. But that's what your environment told you, Cherry says. Adding that making choices based on how they'll be perceived socially can lead you to start overlooking your own well-being, your goals, and your own practicality. Let me stop here for a moment, or pause here for a moment, and address that a little bit. I had this discussion with someone, if it wasn't today, it was yesterday, about education and institutions of education. So an individual that looks up some information on YouTube and learns how to do a thing, is that individual any less informed or any less educated than someone that went to an Ivy League college and did the very same information and got the very same learning? Which one is more educated? Because now we're talking about knowledge and application of said knowledge. And that individual who went on did some research on their own and learned how to do that thing may very well be more adept at doing that thing than the individual that went to that Ivy League college to learn how to do it. Just because of how they have to apply it. You know, necessity is the mother of invention, right? And so you have a lot of these multimillionaires that are multimillionaires today because of a thought. And they had the need to present a thing. And that thing just blew up. And they became multimillionaires. And the person that went to college and had the hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans can't repay it for the duration of their work life because what? They're limited to what they learned there. So when it comes to knowledge, how do you put a dollar value on that? How do you weigh that against someone else's knowledge? I digress. Ultimately, Combs says a deeply held belief that you're capable of a limited amount can lead to plenty of self-sabotage. Now, if you go back to my example, the individual that went and learned something themselves and applied it for their own use, and it does well, that individual may be asked to go to a Fortune 500 company to do that very same thing. But because they're saying, but I didn't go to college to learn this, I don't know how to, but you're doing it. You have done it and you have been doing it. I just want you to come here and do it. This is what the company is saying to this individual. But they're limiting themselves just because they have only thought about themselves in a little bubble doing this thing and thinking that it's only reaching the extent of this little bubble. What they're saying here is that you need to break free of that self-limiting belief because others are recognizing that you have the capability to do what they're asking you to do because you're doing it already. So people will raise their levels of success financially and or social status wise, but it will feel unfamiliar to them to such a great extent that they will unconsciously start to bring themselves back down to a level that feels more psychologically familiar. Cherry says there are 3 primary symptoms associated with this kind of financial or career self-sabotage. And I dare to say you can go ahead and expand it past financial and careers. But as the text says, as the article says, you know, it's financial and career. Cherry says holding on to excess money due to fear are symptoms associated with this kind of financial self-sabotage. It's not seeking new money-making opportunities because you don't feel capable of handling them. Being less likely to take financial risks than those around you. These are the 3 things. And if you grew up in a home with scarcity of money, then you may carry that into adulthood. You may not pursue money abundance because you may not think that you're worthy of money. If you're unable to see your true value and self-worth, you struggle to even believe that you can negotiate a raise or wrangle yourself a promotion. And if you don't think you're capable of that, Cherry adds, you almost assuredly won't believe in your own ability to launch a successful side hustle or entrepreneurial venture. So then, what do you do? Or is there anything that you can do about it? Well, the first step, as cliche as it may sound, is acceptance. And y'all know my motto. You heard me mention it at the beginning of the broadcast. You hear me mention it all over the place, all the time. Have acceptance through enlightenment. And the first step is acceptance. Coambs says you have to acknowledge that this phenomenon is actually affecting you and grieve the opportunities you have missed over the years. Then, through conversations with a trusted, empathetic individual like a therapist, you can pinpoint how exactly these types of thoughts affect you and start to work towards changing them. One of those big shifts that the lens of therapy brings is that it's less about telling people how they should feel and more about inviting people into a self-reflective process. Now that way, according to Combs, they're starting to come to their own conclusions. And that change comes from within them. Supportive friends can help you too. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to believe in yourself. You know, they say iron sharpens iron. The other thing is ornithological creatures of similar plumage agglutinate. So, in everyday terms, birds of a feather flock together. And if you want to be able to ascend out of a place where, or ascend to a place where you can see yourself, but you are not there yet, go ahead and associate yourself with people that are there so you can get used to the feeling of being there. How about that for a thought? Having these external validations comes and become an internal reality. So if you don't have people in your life that are telling you that you're capable of doing more, then you have to develop that within you. And despite what some people would think, that is a little bit harder to do. Cherry also recommends investing time into financial literacy. The more you learn about how money works, the less likely you are to excessively stress about it. He notes that personal finance education in schools could be a particularly helpful way to nip this phenomenon in the bud for today's children, giving them a potentially more positive relationship with money from an early age. We don't find that happening in our inner city schools. We don't. Some of our more affluent neighborhoods may have a program that addresses that. And this is how they manage to keep that kind of resource available in that community. See how that works? And there are some cultures that teach this. They don't teach it in the school, they teach it in the home. And again, it is knowledge that is earned, that is learned, that is acquired over time, not necessarily from an educational institution. But how do you put a price tag on knowledge wherever it is acquired from? Apparently, this is not one of the things that you can really do on your own. According to Cherry, bootstrapping is a myth as far as raising oneself. It takes a community. So now we go back to what I said about ornithological creatures of similar plumage agglutinating. Because You ever notice how migratory birds fly? It looks cool that they fly in this V formation, doesn't it? Well, do you know why they do it? It is a community effort to migrate because it is rooted in science. It's physics. No, nobody taught these birds how to do it, but somehow they know. And flying in that V formation, it reduces drag on the whole group and enables them to fly comfortably over long distances. And what happens is the bird at the front takes the brunt of the drag and it is displaced in the group. And as that bird tires, he then switches places with another one and another bird takes over at the lead. But they maintain that formation. Amazing how they can do that. But for some reason, we as intelligent beings, as the top of the intelligence pyramid, can't seem to get it together. Interesting, isn't it? So it takes a community, it takes a group, because no man is an island, no man stands alone. And we need the support of our friends, we need the support of our family, we need the support of our community in order to move past this. Because again, it's a limiting belief based on something that we learned as a child. Remember, we talked about those type A, type B, type C, type E beliefs. Things that we were told at some point in time in our development, and we held on to that and we use that as gospel when it is not necessarily the case. Going back to the story of Haley, where her parents said she was the brains and her sister the beauty. Not saying that she is not attractive. And if she took it to mean that in addition to being attractive, she has brains, and for her sister, she has beauty with not as much brains. If she had taken it that way, then I'm pretty sure the whole scenario would have been presented differently in the bar. But she took it to mean that she wasn't that great looking. And regardless of what her friend said, that was her limiting belief. And so she didn't go over and say to the guy that she had caught her eye, hello. Because it all starts from a hello, right? So many of us wish that we could be in a better position, but never stop to think that we don't have to wish. We can just go and do. We can just be, because we're destined to. Because what the mind conceives, the body can achieve, right? All we have to do is put in the work. We have to just put in the effort. And Cesar has a song where he talks about put your shoulder to the wheel. And that's all it takes. Now, sometimes this starts with just a thought. That thought is just a dream. And it's not to say that it is far-fetched and it is unattainable. It is to say we're setting a goal. And then we're taking that goal and we're breaking it up into miniature goals, and we're achieving each of these goals little by little, and we're putting the pieces together, because one cocoa fills a basket. So now you keep adding a piece here and a piece there and a piece there until you have built this massive Lego construct. Because when you think Lego, it's all these little pieces that individually just, you step on it and it's a pain. But you put them all together and you never know what you could come up with. That is what it is to move past self-limiting beliefs, to envision yourself moving out of where you currently are, and to destroy the thought that is keeping you there. Because we can all achieve a lot more. Now, if you don't want to achieve more, that's fine too. That's on you. To each his own. But for those that are restricted by self-limiting beliefs, accepting that you are limiting yourself, again, is the first step. Because now you are aware. And seeking out the help to break this chain. Your supportive friends, and I met someone recently that calls her therapist her paid best friend. Get yourself a paid best friend. Because I have not regretted seeing a therapist. And no one that I know that has seen a therapist, I've ever heard them say, boy, I regret going to this person. So if you haven't done it yet, you probably have that option in your health plan. If you have everyone should have a health plan. Go check it out. And if you don't, talk to your local clinic. Because mental health care is something that you'll get anyway. So talk to someone. And let's get on this train to moving away from self-limiting beliefs and frivolous wishes, and turn these wishes into goals. Kicking things off tonight with the sound of Master J Ball.
I'm wishing, I am wishing. Oh, I'm wishing.
It's called Musical Therapy. This segment sponsored by our friends over at McNeil Trucking.
We'll be missing.
The track is called Wishing.
Can't find no work, though I tried so very hard. God knows it hurts, just can't find a job. I can't pay my rent, bills are overdue. No matter what happens, got to push on through. I'm willing to work for the things that I want and need. I'm up and running, I'm ready to proceed. But life throws you lemons, so you make lemonade. Life throws you curves, you gotta know how to swerve. So I'm wishing that things could be different. Right now what's saving is missing. I ain't got a cent, I can't find no work, though I tried so very hard. God knows it hurts. Gotta get a job, can't pay the rent, bills are overdue. But no matter what happens, I've got to push on through. They say God help those who help themselves, and no one can do for you. You have to do for yourself. Do for yourself. I know just wishing won't make a wish come true, but right now I feel like that's all I can do. Oh, I'm wishing. I'm wishing. All my savings are missing.
People, wherever they may be.
This is the sound of Third World frontman AJ Brown.
Live their lives and
track called People Are People.
family.
Now notice I didn't say this is the sound of Third World.
Our people,
It's the lead singer from Third World.
they may go. Whether strangers or someone
the sound of scatter.
Rise.
It's called Rise.
Hearts in unity. Clap your hands and sing with me. Rise. Rise.
As we bounce through this musical therapy segment.
Groove to the beat. Come and move your dancing feet. Rise. Rise. Pick yourself from off the ground. Stand firm your own solid ground. Don't you ever let the wicked try to keep you down. Who shall bless, no man curse. Thank you, Jah, we passed the worst. Feel so good I don't need a nurse. No. Rise. 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 Skank into the drum and bass. Bend down low and wind up your waist. Rise. Rise. Enough niceness in the place. Them a go tired to see we face. Rise. Rise. Come out of the darkness into the light. Stand for justice, stand for rights. Change up your evil ways. Stop your fuss and fight. When the road get rocky and steep, no for struggle and no for weak. Them so bad, see them so bad this. I got them a read. Rise. 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 Rise.
Can't think about no one else.
This is on a Kev.
Got me hooked under your spell.
Track called A Smile.
Baby, I'm in love.
Yeah, his name is Kev. It's not me.
I said I feel it in my heart, feel it in my feet. I'm in love. Yeah. If I did miss the first time, not the second time around. Yeah. When I reminisce on the good times, turn my frown around into a smile, baby. Frown into a smile, into a smile, yeah. Frown into a smile. Even through the hard times, I ain't leaving. We got that crazy love. Tough enough to believe that Jah providing all our strength and needs, yeah. If I did miss my first time, not the second time around. When I reminisce on the good times, girl, you tear my frown around into a smile, into a smile now. Frown now into a smile. Every day I'm on go. Every day I'm on go.
This is on a Korik.
Cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight on
It's called Good Day.
give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day.
Talk about a good reminder.
Quarrel and complain. Give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground.
This is my alarm every morning.
Everywhere I go, just shining sunlight through my window. Him say give thanks for life today because no one knows tomorrow. So I give thanks, no time for stressing. Every breath I breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you're on it. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and come
say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. Got no time to be hateful. There's so much to be grateful for. You might never have your plate full, but from your living and breathing, stay cheerful and give thanks and learn this lesson. Every breath we breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you run things. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day you're gonna
Zona G-Mac. His rendition of Things You Say You Love. Bouncing through this our musical therapy right here. The night shift to DJ Kevin Steele.
can't last too long. The way you're vibrating. You're gonna things you say you love. You're gonna can't last too long. The way you are flirting can't last too long. The things you are doing, that's why I say blue. You're gonna things you say you love. You're gonna girl, you got the moves, you got the juice, you got the flavor, got the sauce on yeah. Anywhere you wanna go, just say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh, yeah. You need somebody to remind you.
This is King Charles.
Oh, I just wanna make
The track is called Juice.
waste no time. Change your life. You and I will chase the skies and no limit. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Oh yeah. Girl, you got the moves, you got the juice, you got the flavor, got the sauce on yeah. Anywhere you wanna go, just say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh yeah. If you need somebody to remind you, if you're lost, I'll find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So if you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Yeah. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. She want to touch her. Put the things out there on me way, but I mean she want to touch her. When you touch it's like rain and fall. I mean she want to touch her. A rasta she want to touch her. Yeah. So I touch her in the morning, touch her in the evening. Good loving from the rasta man she receiving. Loyal empress, I me know she no deceiving. She a blaze, movie is fine, dinner is fine, but right now she need to unwind. It's touching time. She tell me say a touching time. So my come in house.
This is on a Bingy Blaze.
I mean she want to touch her.
Track is called Rasta Touch.
Things and take her on the world, but I mean she want to touch her. When me touch it's like rain and fall. I mean she want to touch her. A rasta she want to touch her. A blind she feel like she wanna fly. She never yet been so high.
She's in love, she cannot deny. Oh me, oh my, oh me, oh my. Rasta I give her more than text. Stimulate her mind, body, soul, intellect. Take her to some place that she never been yet. Seen some things that she never seen yet. She said me want you bingy, trust me. She said me need you bingy, touch me. She said me want you bingy, trust me. She said me need you bingy, touch me. Some a come bring house and money and vehicle. Now me she want fi touch her. Some a buy her fancy things and take her on the world. But a me she want fi touch her. When we touch it's like rain a fall. And me she want fi touch her. A rasta she want fi touch her. Well, hear me now. Oh yo, she on the food pan plate. Now bend down low, she want elevate. Blah blah blah, and them not penetrate. Now the rasta pass you and she start celebrate. See what you see and do what you're doing. Girl, she's got something, hey, hey, that money can buy. Some a come with booze and money and big. But a me, she want to touch her. Some a buy a fancy things and take her on the world. But a me, she want to touch her. When we touch it's like rain a fall. A me, she want to touch her. A rasta she want to touch her, touch her, touch her, touch her.
For so long, you and me been finding each other for so long.
This is Anna Jonah Marie.
That I feel for you as
Her rendition of I Just Want to Be Your Everything.
if you give a little more than you're asking for, your love will turn the key.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
Thank you, Joanna.
For so long, you and me been finding each other for so long. And the feeling that I feel for you is more than strong, boy. Take it from me. If you give a little more than you're asking for, your love will turn the key. Darling, I would wait forever for those lips of wine. Build my world around you, darling. This love will shine, boy. Watch it and see. If you give a little more than you're asking for, your love will turn the key. I just wanna be your everything. Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me, and not some puppet on a string. Oh, if I stay here without you, darling, I will die. I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be your everything. To be your darling, for so long, you and me been finding each other for so long. And the feeling that I feel for you is more than strong, boy. Take it from me. If you give a little more than you're asking for, your love will turn the key. I just wanna be your everything. Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me, and not some puppet on a string. Oh, if I stay here without you, darling, I will die. I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be your everything. To be your
Wait a minute, stop what we're doing, because I got to tell you now what's on my mind. We've been at this for some time, and I just wanna know if your
This is on a fire.
just as strong as mine.
Track called Love Me.
We got some years in this. It's always brand new to me. You see the butterflies, my palms get sweaty. My thoughts and my heart stay heavy. You got this kind of effect on me. So maybe we can sit down and just wind down and speak of all the many reasons why we stick around. But really all I want from you is just
here's what I want now.
love me.
Just love me.
Love me a little more tonight. Say that your heart belongs to me. 'Cause my heart is yearning for you. Baby, I'm forever loving you. Love me a little more tonight. Say that your heart belongs to me. 'Cause my heart is yearning for you. Baby, I'm forever loving you. I'ma hold you down tomorrow more than I held you down today. When I say it's you, I mean it. I mean it. He means it. I'm not gonna slip away when things get harder, because the way my heart is built for you. This love will never fail. You know I'm playing on forever. It's you, it's me, it's us. You're not alone, no never. I could go on and on of what this is and promises. Well, baby, we got time, so let's just sit.
Well, we don't have much more time. But this is where my time comes to an end. I do want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being the best part of this broadcast. I do want to remind you to look out for members of your community as we part company. And remember, your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. Those that you pass on the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Look out for one of them today, because you never know who's going to look out for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday right here, kevinstew.com. For the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Remember to join me on Saturday on Reggae Global Radio, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Saturday Stew. Yeah, there we do more music and less talk.
Many reasons why we stick around, but really all I want from you is just to love.
Thank you, Fire. This track called Love Me. So y'all be good. If you can't be good at it. As I wish y'all good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you a good night. Take care of yourselves until we do it again. Because what, baby? I'm forever loving you. Take care. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.